Today is day 5 of Israel's war on Hezbollah and Lebanon. The latest count by the Lebanese Ministry of Health puts the number of deaths at about 700, while those injured number about 5,000. Hundreds of thousands of the displaced are seeking shelter away from the south and other areas that have received the brunt of the Israeli Air Force's attacks. The school year in Lebanon has been postponed for at least 2 weeks in order to help house those looking for shelter. And now news is rife that Israel is preparing for a ground offensive in the south, a possibility that is sure to make things worse for civilians. The southern area of the country has been devastated in a real implementation of Israeli politicians' threats that Lebanon will become another Gaza. Media coverage shows widespread destruction in the south, on the coastal highway, and in the interior of the country. All areas Israel has declared are prime targets because Hezbollah supposedly has stored weapons and missiles in them. Israel has been able to neutralize many of Hezbollah's missiles with its air defense, something that the party or Lebanon do not possess to protect against Israeli attacks. Israeli political and military leaders have declared that operations against Hezbollah in the north will not end until the people of northern Israel can safely return to their homes. Such an objective is so far hard to achieve because Hezbollah has not yet declared that it will stop its operations in response to Israeli military action. Hezbollah still insists that it will stop its war of support for Hamas in Gaza as long as the Israeli war there continues. That war has so far resulted in the deaths of some 42,000 Palestinians and the injury of close to 100,000 others, as well as the devastation and destruction of the entire Strip. The big absent from effectively influencing developments on the southern border is the Lebanese government. Caretaker Prime Minister Najib Mikati is currently in New York trying to pressure for de-escalation and the intervention of international actors such as the United States, France, Great Britain, and others. The problem is that the Lebanese government has for a long time ceded its sovereignty over the south and allowed Hezbollah to dictate the terms of what happens on the border. Hezbollah itself has rejected the government's call for de-escalation and other political parties' rejection of a war with Israel. This does not augur well for the party's future relations with a wide swathe of the Lebanese public and their political representatives in parliament and the government. It also continues to erode the Lebanese state's sovereignty and ability to represent its people's wishes. What is interesting in this episode is the seeming Iranian silence about what is going on, as if Hezbollah is fighting by itself after hoping that it will be supported by the Islamic Republic in a war with Israel. The Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian's statements in New York were very disappointed to Hezbollah supporters, especially at this time of a murderous campaign by Israel that is being conducted all over Lebanon. On the other hand, what is perplexing is the position of the United States, which has declared that Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu was entertaining the idea of a ceasefire with Hezbollah, only to arrive in New York and declare that there will be no ceasefire and the war will continue. This was yet another one of the many times that Netanyahu has changed his mind, thus embarrassing the Biden administration one more time. This again calls in question the White House's ability to curb the actions of a client state that receives the tools for continuous war from the United States in Gaza, the occupied West Bank, and now in Lebanon.